Hey guys, just another video for all you Magic players out there. Um, so last video I talked about how the ban list came out and no changes to standard or modern, and the only change in legacy was banning top. So I'm gonna at least talk about at least one positive that we can get all this is that at least Amonkhet Limited is gonna be great. I drafted well, I didn't draft, but I played sealed in three Amonkhet events, and I did one two-headed giant. And I have to say, the pulls, the packs are very, very, very good. I have to say. So you can let's talk about the mechanics real fast. As I played with them and tinkered with them, cycling is pretty good. You can make a pretty solid Drake Haven deck if you just so happen to draft that card or get it in one of your packs for sealed. I think cycling is pretty solid. It could help mitigate dead cards in your hand so you can draw better. But yeah, I think that's great. I think minus one counters is pretty good. A lot of the creatures that do have that mechanic are very very overpowered for their cost. You have the one hippo, a defiant something maw, but it's a 4/5 for 3 mana. You can put two minus one counters on a creature, and even if you give it to him, he's still a 2/3 for 3, which in limited that's not bad at all. And whenever you put a counter on him, you could take a counter off of something. So you could just throw the counters on some weak creature, and you have a 4/5 on turn 3, and which is insane in limited. And you have several other cards that come down on turn 3 or turn 4 as a 4/5, and that's really good. I mean, standard at one point had a problem with Siege Rhino being a 4/5, and so, but that's in limited. So I think 1/1 counters is good. I think exert can be good if in the right situation. Like many of the cards do untap exert creatures, and the one thing I think I can solidly say about exert that if you're gonna go for an alpha strike and you're sure they cannot recover on your next turn, then I should say go ahead and exert those creatures. I mean, you can get the extra damage in and all that stuff, and it will force your opponent in a really, really bad situation. But I wouldn't use exert early in the game. Like if you could put your opponent in a really bad spot, then I think exert is okay. I think it takes a little bit of skill to work with the exert mechanic, but I think it's pretty all right as well for limited. Another one is Embalm, and as I said in the last video, Embalm is crazy stupid in limited. It's basically all your Embalm creatures are 2-for-1s. Like you can discard them into the graveyard and you can embalm them later, and you can just let them die on the battlefield and you can bring them back again. You have to remove them if they were embalmed, of course, if they were sent to the graveyard because they're tokens. But you get to use your creature twice if you put it on the battlefield and it went to the graveyard. Or you could use it, you're going to use the creature at least one time. So, I mean, I think they're the best. I think the key to building in limited is probably going to be a mid-range deck. Some control is all right. You can make a solid blue-white control deck. There are some creatures that if you sacrifice them, you can get an instant or sorcery back from your graveyard to your hand, and I was able to do that, and it was pretty nice. Now, if you're trying to open for value, well, I've watched some videos. I've watched MTG Lion. He actually talked about how a majority of the Amonkhet invocations are less than $30. And yeah, that'll pay for your draft, but if you want high lottery things like Force of Will, which is the only card that's over $200 in invocation, yeah, I guess that's fine. But if you're trying to open for value, you're gonna be a little disappointed because after Pro Tour, all the prices just tank. Like even the mythics, like Liliana and Gideon. Well, Gideon's probably going to go up in price. Nissa will probably go up a little bit, Um, I actually pulled a foil one. I'm going to get rid of that today because I don't like how standard is, but that was discussed in the last video. But as far as limited goes, I think Amonkhet kind of hit the nail on the head. Aether Revolt and Kaladesh, I didn't think was a very great draft experience just because of the fact that for most of your deck to function, you have to have artifacts in your deck. And in Amonkhet, there's just so many good archetypes you can play with and actually have fun. You can build red, white, exert, green, white, exert, black, green counters. You can even build red, black, hellbent mechanic. That looks really fun. You can build red, green aggro. There's a good amount of ramp in this set, which is pretty cool. You can build blue, white, embalm. You can build white, black zombies, which that's really fun. There's a lot of playable zombies. You could build a blue, black discard. I wouldn't recommend doing it like that because I think blue, black in general should be more controlling, but that's another discussion. But I think at least Wizards hit that nail on the head. Like at least draft would be fun, and you know I like drafting. I won 3 Aether Revolt drafts, and most of the time I thought the decks weren't that good that I built. But you know, improvise was such a broken mechanic that why not build around it? If I could give you tips on how to do well in draft and sealed, I think the best thing you should actually look at is how much embalmed creatures you have and try to build a deck around that. Like if you have a bunch of embalmed creatures, just go with it. If people are passing you embalmed creatures, you take them. You take them. Because the deck you're just gonna have so much value out of your deck. It's gonna be fun and it's gonna be overwhelming for your opponent. But yeah, that's just what I think about Amonkhet Limited. I think they hit it right on the head for it. It's gonna be fun and yeah, it's gonna be a little stale after a while. But you know, Hour of Devastation is gonna come out, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with the embalm mechanic and all that and cycling. And you get Nicol Bolas, so that's a great thing. So. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys later. Subscribe to the channel, and there's going to be more MTG videos coming soon.